Hey, what's up, traders? Let's see what we have here. Just going to do a rundown of last week's trade on Eurodollar. So weekly time frame going into the week I was quite bearish because we have had this bearish order flow. We have had weeks of price going down. We've also, previously taken out loads of liquidity and price has just been pushing lower, failed to continue higher after this pull back quite deep into this range. And then we broke below this 1.14 level a few weeks ago, and then pulled back into this bearish fair value gap above three different previous week's candles, which was one of the main reasons going into this week. I was looking for bearish trades. I wasn't going to be aiming for these previous month's lows, but going into Tuesday, I was a bit bearish. So let's just dive into it. So Monday, price opened. We had some news coming out as well. So Monday, nothing. Tuesday, we had the claimant count change for dollar, CPI for dollar, nothing for euro until Thursday. So Tuesday was a good day to start trading. So yeah, Monday price opened with quite a gap, and this gap was rejected on Monday, and I was waiting for price to retrace into that gap going into Tuesday or Wednesday. And because on the lower time frame also we got quite a few confluences to support the bearish order flow. So on the 4 hour time frame we had this these bearish candles with a bearish fair value gap in the middle right here at that 50% or between the 50 and 618 at the gap, and I was aiming to look for trades to go down from that area. The only thing that was standing in my way was the fact that we took out this low with this candle, and I was a bit hesitant because of that. It is my first time trading in a really long time, so I was going in with a bit with quite I was a bit risk averse going into it because I wasn't very confident with the trade I was taking. However, the same trade on pound dollar was a lot more I had a lot more conviction on. So 1 hour time frame, right? So we've got this. I was expecting price to pull up to this level, essentially potentially come into maybe 50% or 618 of this range now, which aligns with the 618 of the range for the 240 as well. Let me just make sure that is correctly populated. Yeah. And yeah, I believe we have the 1 hour one. That one is the 1 hour one. Yeah. The 618 and that 50% on the 240 aligns quite nicely, right? So ideally a trade around that area, somewhere around here, would have been ideal, with stops above these highs and targets these lows, and that was something I was aiming for. Price pushes up. Yeah, the other factor that threw me off was that liquidity grab down there. Price pushes up, comes into that 50% and that 618 from this range and the 50% of the 240 range, and also into that gap just where the start of that gap from the weekly time frame, and then starts to go down. I think this candle right here, this bearish engulfing candle that we got at 6 a.m. is a very good candle. And then yeah, this is a London session. London opens, pushes up, rejects. Again, we got a rejection one more time at that high, and then we got displacement lower, leaving this fair value gap. Again, this was New York open. This pullback here would have been a good trade to trade, especially if you just want to trade down to these lows. That would have been another 1.5%. I did take the trade up here somewhere, but I did exit that trade quite early because I didn't want to hold that trade for too long, especially because I wasn't too confident about, like I said, on this 240 price taking out liquidity down here and pushing up. But given yeah, that was one of the main reasons. And then yeah, we pushed down. Tuesday, that's the close of Tuesday right here, and then price pushes back up on Wednesday after grabbing liquidity of these lows, pushes up. I didn't trade Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. Pushes up one more time, pushes all the way up, to these highs into that 618 of that 240 right from before. However, this time obviously we have longer range. Price comes down here, we break above that high and immediately displace down, failing to hold that bullish close, and then yeah, we continue lower on the 240 and also 1 hour time frame, continuing that bearish order flow that we were seeing on the weekly time frame. And then yeah, Friday we have something like this, and I do believe going into next week, I do see price coming lower. Maybe we'll grab this liquidity because I was expecting that to be grabbed on Friday at 1.136, and I do expect price to come down here. We are also forming a channel, which is something I like to trade. But yeah, I see price coming down one more time, maybe one more time, a couple of times, form a channel, push up. If we're going to continue with the bearish order flow, then it might come up, grab some liquidity at a certain level, continue lower. But if we, I don't know the long-term prediction, but I do expect price to find some kind of a support here and push up, and I will be looking at that going into next week. But just a quick one with the pound dollar, like I said, pound dollar trade was had a lot more conviction on, and I wish I took that over the one on euro dollar because of that 240 liquidity grab at the bottom, which made me less confident with the trade. And yeah, so going into this, another thing I've been noticing is that daily time frame, these massive fair value gaps, right? They are a very good sign of price coming back and holding. Like, they provide a very good location for price to come and hold, like this bearish fair value gap that price previously like failed to continue lower on, right? Or held. I would say it did hold eventually, right? It looked like it was going to close up at this 1.348 level, pushed down, continued up. Look how many times rejected it, pushed down, came up again, 50% held, then finally came down, took liquidity, and the way price displaced up so sharply is quite a good sign that it's not going to hold. But then again, we come back up, try to close above it, or we closed above it and then immediately displaced lower. So we have come into quite a good location, I think, for price to find bullish, some kind of a bullish momentum, and I do expect price to go push up from here on pound dollar actually. So maybe euro dollar, pound dollar going into next week, we will see some kind of a bullish push, but I wouldn't say for a strong bullish displacement. Maybe some kind of a support here. So yeah, price came back down and again rejected this area 50%. So let's just go into the Tuesday Tuesday trade that I was looking at. So yeah, this had so much more conviction, man. This was a much better trade because look at it. Price opened on Monday here, gapped up, that's fine, came up, took our liquidity of these highs, by the way, on the 240 and also quite evident on the 60-minute time frame, took our liquidity, displaced down, put in a market structure shift, left a fair value gap, and honestly there couldn't have been a better trade than this. So I wish I took this trade over that. I think there might have been a reason why there was no reason. This is a perfect trade. So yeah, and again this one pulls back right into that 618, right into 618 at 1.345, pushes up again. Look at it, it comes back into that 50% off that daily time frame fair value gap, or inverse fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. Rejects it with this bearish engulfing candle again here, right? Not only just a 1 hour and a 240. This was a trade on 240, pull back, just leave an entry here with stops above here, just above that, maybe these highs, and then target down to these lows, or even down to this fair value gap at 1.5% to be a bit more. If you don't want to be too risky, and take that win, that would have been a good trade. And again, 1 hour time frame bearish engulfing candle at that level at 3 a.m. That is 7 a.m. candle, so 7 to 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. candle open like this. Again, on the 15-minute market structure shift, close below, leaving fair value gap displacement, pull back into that 50%. Another trade opportunity right there as well. So yeah, pound dollar was a much better opportunity, but yeah. So next week again for pound dollar, honestly, maybe if we come down to these lows, look how we grabbed liquidity multiple times and displaced up before. So yeah, maybe sorry, that's obviously gone. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that on the daily time frame. Right, we had price pushing down, yeah, right into this low. That's where it came. And I do believe it's going to find support around that area and push up. So I am waiting for price to give me something here next week, Monday, Tuesday, most likely. Monday evening, Tuesday morning. Maybe we've got news coming out next week. Cancel. Let's go next. Come on. Okay. Dollar. Okay. We've got interest rate news on dollar on Wednesday. What we got? We've got interest rate for pound as well on Thursday. So pretty big news coming out during the week. Yeah, anything can happen. So if there was a trade to go up on Monday or Tuesday, I think I'll take it. But Wednesday and Thursday, I wouldn't really do anything. So, and it will be a very short term trade. So yeah, let's see how next week goes. But that's a trade for